It has been pressed.
All right. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
It's been 2 weeks.
Since you looked at me.
5 days since. I like
Wait,
that.
it's only been 1 week since we. Well, I guess it's been 2 weeks since we played. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
When last we left, you guys were attempting to infiltrate the cave to get the stones. Things had gone not as planned. I wouldn't necessarily say bad, considering that everyone's still alive, but not as planned.
Yeah.
And we kind of just left off with the scouts and 2 workers that were outside of the cave were dead, and there was discussion as to what to do next. And I'm just going to throw it into your court.
All right.
Question, GM. Is there
Yes.
any of those screecher things that are still alive?
No, I believe. Okay, I'm going to say this. Most of them were killed. I think you left a few of them alone that were kind of the ones that were out of sorts because of your wild cackling. I will say that when the rest of the people got to you, they finished them off. So there's nothing alive outside of this cave.
Okay.
Okay. So Theta will look amongst his companions, and then to Adolin, and then towards the mouth of the cave, and he'll say, "We have 3 choices. Do what Adolin and his men usually do, and lure these creatures outside and finish them. The problem is those screechers yelled for quite some time, and Theta looks around, in these wastes with nothing to block the sound, and the cunning hearing of these Palladians, it is fair to assume that as we speak right now, the warriors are coming back to see who is attacking their home. However, if we rush in, and Theta will point over to the mouth of the cave, we are rushing into an unknown number of enemies and unknown dangers. This leads the only logical 3rd option. We wasted no ammunition. We withdraw for a day, regroup, and try again. The stones will still be here, as will the Palladians."
There is some small murmuring among the crowd, and Adolin goes, "Well, if we retreat, as far as I know, there's 2 possible outcomes. Either the soldiers win the fight with the other nest, and in such a case they will destroy that nest and return with enough food to feed this nest for weeks, or they lose, in which case the soldiers from that nest would come here, destroy the queen and her eggs, and drag the workers off for food of their own."
Or the 3rd option, there is no fight between the 2. The warriors come back at the sound of their bleating scouts.
He nods. That is always a possibility as well, yes.
Well then, it's simple. We withdraw, and in either cases, we'll end up being the victor. If no war happens between these 2 little clusters of Palladians, then we're at exactly the same point, but with more knowledge. If this cluster of Palladians is victorious, that means the other nest will be dead and weakened, and we can investigate it. And if the other group comes here to destroy it, that means their warriors will be away from their nest, and we can plunder it while they're away.
There's, again, some people like talking in hushed tones to Adolin, and Adolin quiets them down, and he says, we don't know where the other nest is. If you do, then that sounds like a wonderful idea. But I thought you would be new to this area."
We are. But the Palladians did leave here, did they not? Is no one here a good enough tracker to follow the large footprints and the large tail lines of these creatures? We have one in our party who can do such things.
We can. We just don't make a rule of it.
Of course. Suffice to say, if we are all agreed, then I suggest that we leave here post-haste.
He holds up a hand. He says, "But I'm not sure. I'm a little confused. You want to retreat for a day, but within a day, everything will be decided. Even if they lose, the soldiers will come here and be back to their nests before we come back."
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He says, "If you want to take advantage, we need to press the advantage."
Thedo crosses his arms, and he'll say, "You invited us to this hunt to give assistance. You suggested that we take the lead, that you had much to learn from us. Now you are challenging our suggestions. So we have two ways of following my good, dear, and new friend Adolin. Either you take charge and we give support, or we take charge and you respect our decision."
There is a long pause, and he says, "You obviously seem upset. I was under the impression that by learning from you it meant we could ask questions. I must have been mistaken."
There is no need for such words. Just simply answer. I do not wish to offend you any further.
"I'm not offended, my friend. I'm just... It does not matter. If you feel it is best to retreat, then we shall."
Good.
And then he starts motioning to other people. And they start loading up in the cars.
All right.
And then Adolin kind of stops and unsure of where to go.
Suggestions, guys?
So, when you say he stops and doesn't know where to go, is he more of like doesn't know where to go as in he's in a car, or he's standing there out in the open kind of
As
going,
in-
which car should I go to?
Yeah, like he started going back towards your car where he rode with you guys and then stops, hesitates, looks a little awkward. And he's kind of there in that frozen state of, do I still go? That kind of thing.
Oh, I motioned to him that he should go with his friends.
With that, he will nod and slowly go to one of the other cars.
And I bow, like, good,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
As he's walking away, I will say this, in case there are onlookers or anything like that. Isaac will start to unwrap one of his hands, his gloves. And he's going to touch Talavak and meditate for a bit.
Oh, that's right.
Specifically 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Lucas is actually going to wave at you guys like he's saying goodbye, and he's going to go with Adolin.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm not stopping him. I'm gonna get into our own van.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to be hitting you with a healing touch. So
Okay.
2 minutes meditation, and how much damage did you take before?
I took 23 out of 53, so that's 20.
Jeez.
Yeah. I know.
You heal back 8 SDC.
Hold on, let me just double check there because sometimes I get it mixed up. Oh, I had less than that as far as my SDC goes, but
Oh.
so I got eight back. Yeah.
How much
Alright, that's
SDC or HP did you have?
I
Was
was
it just
still-
your SDC?
It was my SDC. I get them mixed up sometimes. I forget that SDC's first.
Yeah.
So I had 36, and then I took 23 points of damage.
Okay, so then you get
Yeah.
8 back.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Then I'll head back to the car.
Okay. Lucas, when you start following Aiden, when you is it fair to say that you like catch up to him about the same time he gets to the car?
Sure.
Okay. He would look around and look in surprise and go, "Oh, were you going to ride with us?"
I have some things to talk about. If that's okay.
He looks nervous again. Of course, it's okay. I'm sorry if we offended. I did not mean to.
We'll talk about it.
He looks around awkwardly, and then he goes, and puts on a smile, and he goes, "Of course, hop in."
How's the inside of this thing look?
Old, old and rusted. Um, the inside, okay, it's a strange cross. The chassis, the seats, they look old and rusted, but you'll notice that the drive shaft, the tires, the axle, the things like that look well cared for.
All right.
And you'll also notice that when you guys start driving, that it doesn't purr like a kitten, but it also doesn't sound like it looks, if that makes sense. It runs smoothly.
It's not an old junker that stutters and pulls and things like that.
Correct.
All right. Is it just me and him, or is there others?
It would be you in the front seat, him in the driver's seat, and then a third person in a like turret opening out back.
All right.
So it's like an enclosed dune buggy more than a truck.
All right. During the drive, Lucas is going to start up a conversation. Unless you guys want to do something before that.
All I'm really gonna do is follow the bulk of the convoy, but I don't have anything to roleplay specifically just yet. Other than some minor conversations with Lucas and Televac, but yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So, Adolin, right?
Yes.
Right. I'll have to personally apologize for this. The team tries to cover for me quite a bit of the time, but to be honest, they were trying to. I have a bit of a problem every once in a while. I get a bit hot-headed, maybe a bit of a bloodlust every once in a while, and I act a bit too aggressive. And when that happens, I do things foolishly. Of course, none of them wanted to say it for me, but I think we should know each other a bit more in such cases. If they're
Oh no, keep going.
If they were acting a bit strange, that's the reason.
I see. So the response was to protect you. That is an honorable thing to do. And you are an honest man to admit such faults. I would know many who would not. And I think it's a shame. I don't know a man alive who's not consumed by bloodlust from time to time in the world we live in. I understand completely. And I think that he kind of looks thoughtful for a moment. Have good friends.
Well, I try to keep the best by my side.
He nods. Then I will not question the judgment of such actions in the event that doing so might bring to light such awkward things. I thank you for telling me. It is difficult to know how to act around, well, foreigners. Anything that I can learn to help me do so better is much appreciated.
Oh, culture. Right. Um, well, I would like to do the same with you actually. I've been extremely curious about methods and exactly the way of life over on this area.
Well, it's, I suppose saying it's hard would be stating the obvious, but we are mostly farmers. We farm the land, and I'm sure you know that is a difficult task. But we um, have some Palladians domesticated that we use as livestock, and we subside off of what we farm and the Palladians that feed us. Other than that, we have a few craftsmen and tradesmen, and then we have those who travel between the Golden City and ours, giving the messages of the Six, though I'm not quite sure I would count them as one of us, he says with a bit of a sour face. Life would be hard enough without them, but with them it's brutal. The Ladians are ever more dangerous, and yet we are not allowed to carry weapons, anything more than farm implements. I think that the Golden City doesn't want us raiding the Ladians and getting stones of our own. So our dangerous lives are made even more dangerous, not being able to defend ourselves. You saw yourself the exorbitant prices we had to pay in order to receive the arms you give us.
Yes, I've always been wondering about that. Why would they be worried about weapons, especially since they have the protection of the Six?
He shrugs. Control, I suppose. Who knows them, really? But as I said, I suspect that it might also be that they don't want us going after stones. Stones are power, wealth, and I suppose it is harder to fight a rebellion when you don't have weapons. A truth I have learned bitterly in the past few years.
Something doesn't sit right. But I will trust what you've heard and seen.
He nods and he says, "It perhaps it would be better if I explain their forms of enforcement. I forget that you are not familiar with it. You said, why would they need to take our weapons if they are protected by the Six? I have only ever seen one protector, one god of theirs that comes down to reach out and punish those they deem worthy of punishment. It is a Thaladian, size of which is beyond imagining, larger than the largest buildings. And when it is sent to punish, few remain left to tell the tale. I think that it is an extreme act of punishment, and because of this, most of their punishments are handled themselves. They do not trouble or do not ask their god to intervene unless it is a very grievous defiance."
Interesting. Thank you for that.
He nods. How do your people live as farmers like us?
Well, we usually, um, I guess, much like your culture, we are very religious and ask of our three deities, gods, whatever you may call them, uh, to bring us crops, yes, but we usually take the Palladians as food for most cases. We're currently trying to find a method to tame and extract what is needed.
I see. Have you been in contact with the nomads? I have heard they've been able to tame wild Thalidians.
Most of the time, they just see us from afar and leave.
He grins. I know that feeling. We have old Phyllis, who comes by the town from time to time. He calls himself the Grand Liaison, but the nomads do seem to tend to keep to themselves for the most part. I'm sorry, but it is hard to imagine it. You and your friends speak of your gods as something to be respected, to ask for help, to seek for protection and guidance. It is a difficult concept. Here, gods are nothing but destroyers, to be feared, but not to be wanted.
From the difference that I hear is these gods seem to be almost commanded, while our gods live freely without such tendencies.
Commanded.
Yes, from trying to have them directly interact with us beings is something that
How? No, keep going.
something that we wouldn't even dream of. If one of even just one of the triad came, it would be astounding to everyone. But they usually just keep a far watchful eye and help when they can, if they want to. And if someone does blasphemy is blasphemous, they have their own ways.
I see. Commanded. I have seen the god that takes the form of the Thaladian myself once from a distance. I've seen the blue god walk through the city. How could any man command such a thing? How could any god do anything that they didn't want to?
That's what bothers me. If a god really wanted whatever it wanted, he would take it. This seems strange to me.
Adolin nods, looking concerned, and he's quiet for quiet until spoken to.
Lucas will look like he's in thought.
Okay.
In his mind.
When anyone else says looks like they're in thought, but when you said Lucas looks like he's in thought, I was like, so does that mean he's not?
No, it's not.
Okay then.
There's monkeys juggling while on unicycles in his head.
Is it fair enough to call that scene?
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone else have any minor role plays you wanted to do?
I'm good.
Actually, yeah, I think we have the plan. Now we just got to wait for the time.
Okay.
Or plan, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, there is something that I would like to do. Since it's just the three of us in the van. Would it be possible to take off my nifty air filter mask and possibly shove it into one of the places that the hidey hole places, or no? Do you think there's not enough room?
The mask? I would not say there's enough room for that, no.
Okay, then I'll just toss it in my bag, underneath all the ammo,
Alright.
underneath the 1,000 rounds of ammo.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait. Wait. Right. Got it. Okay, good.
Yeah. That's all
I'm with
that's
you.
in the backpack is just the air
Right.
filter mask and
I
that.
forgot about that. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, you're right.
And that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Cover my face back up with the shawl-like thing that we have.
Since we're covered and everything like that, I'm gonna take my helmet off and just massage my head and face. Oh, I hate this. Oh,
I should probably try and fix you up more.
I feel a little better than that. It's just that having that helmet on constantly, especially this uncomfortable piece of crap. Oh. Ugh. But as far as the wound goes in there, it's not bleeding anymore. So, yeah, I'm pretty good. Thanks.
Cool.
And that's all I got, and I'm just going to rest.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Shut eye.
So you guys drive for about an hour and a half or so. And then Adolin at one point will give it put his arm out the window and signal for everyone to kind of rally around and stop. And he will stop and he'll look to Lucas and he'll say, if we're going to be stopping for the day, we might want to go to Baker's Village. We'd be welcome there. If you're with us, you would be welcomed as well. And it's better than waiting in a cave for a night. Do you think we should ask your friends?
Yeah, I think they would like to be involved.
He nods, and then he gets out of the car, and then he walks over to the van, and he goes over to Xavier's side, and
I'll roll down the window.
he says, if we're going to be passing the time, I was thinking it would be best to go to the village, Baker's Village, and spend the time there. We would be welcome there, and it's better than spending the night in a cave. Your thoughts?
Xavier, as Thedo, will nod his head and say, yes. As long as you understand, will we need to remove our headgear while we are in Baker's Village?
No. I think that it would be fine for you to leave it on. Some people do, of course, when they go inside, but some people keep it on simply because it can be too much effort to take it off.
Good. I do not wish to startle any of the locals. You understand.
I understand. And I understand more about your choice to leave, and I think that you are a good man for it. And he winks at you.
My mask, does it cover my eyes? I mean, as in, is it tinted in a way? Is my full face?
Yeah, your full face is tinted. Very few people have untinted glasses or masks.
Well, then I'm very glad my mask is tinted, because right now Xavier is giving a confused, what the hell does he mean? Look. He'll be able to compose himself, and he'll say, thank you for understanding.
He will nod and he'll say, well, drinks and a fire tonight.
Good.
And then he heads
And
back.
perhaps a new plan with all of us together, and we can loot these Palladians good and proper.
He nods. Indeed. And then he starts heading back towards the buggy.
Okay,
and,
so can I have a bit of a scene here real quick?
Of course,
Has
of course.
Lucas come back to our fucking van yet, or is he still?
Yeah, he walks in while the nice man who just talked to you walks out.
Okay, and when Xavier is certain that Adolin Excuse me, I'm sorry. I tried to fight back that yawn. That did not work. I'm not bored, by the way. I'm just tired. Anyway, just to make sure Adolin is out of any sort of conceivable hearing range, Xavier will say to Lucas, "What the hell did you tell them?"
Oh, I told them that you guys are looking out for me for my bloodlust.
Oh, you have bloodlust now. Okay, good. Well, whatever you said, as far as the specifics go, seemed to have worked wonders. Things got a little tense there in front of the cave. Honestly, I had no interest in standing out there debating when there was monsters inside the cave and possibly those fucking Palladians, coming back to sweep behind us. So, yeah.
I should
Hmm.
probably make sure our story's straight. I also told him a few other things about our culture.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The worst thing that can undo a fable is, inconsistencies. So yeah, what else did you say?
I noted that we are currently in the um, trying to get a process of taming Palladians and using their various resources
Okay.
as a
All
food
right.
source. They asked
Okay.
about our agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
I said we do farming, and our general tendencies of communication with the nomads is we see them from afar, they see us from afar, and then they leave.
Gotcha. So no direct interaction with nomads. That's good. That's good cover. That way we can deny if the nomads say anything different about us wastelanders, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh shoot, was there anything else? Let's see. Oh, I also questioned their religion.
Uh, like how?
Um, General seeds of doubt about them actually being real, about if they were gods, would they
Oh.
directly interact with things?
And you can't see it, but you can probably hear Xavier smile through his voice in his helmet. He goes, "Oh, good, all right." Nothing makes the gods more real than subverting the powers of the religions that be, or some such claptrap.
Oh shoot, what else? Um, yeah, after that discussion, he just seemed worried and in his own mind. Uh, I then took some time to relax.
Okay, all right. Well, let's hit the Bakersfield. No, Bakersville, right?
Baker's Village, yeah. So Bakersville.
Village. Well, we'll say Baker's Village because that's its name. Goodness knows we don't need Inferno renaming things
I almost
because he
said
can't remember them.
I almost said it's Baker's Village.
Because-
Like New York City.
Mhm. Wait, is that an
New
actual
York City
thing?
City.
No, but some people
Okay.
it's a mistake that commonly happens because everyone's used to saying New York City as the name, and then they also
Uh-huh.
try and attach that it's a city, so they do that a lot
Oh, I
without
see.
thinking
What are
about
you
it.
talking about? It's the New York City town, village, city, center,
The New
place,
York,
Yeah.
right next to
state.
the New Jersey Peninsula. All right. Anywho.
So, as you guys drive on for another half an hour or so,
Mm-hmm.
you come across a somewhat familiar scene because you did see Baker's Village from a distance.
Hmm.
And it looks same as it did before. It is surrounded by metal walls about 10 to 12 feet high that look pieced together from different slabs of different types of metal. And the top of the entire village seems shielded by a pavilion of sorts, a gigantic pavilion roof that covers this entire village, which, while not big, by your standards, of course, given that you've been to places like Center, it is still big enough to hold several dozen buildings. And the convoy stops about 200 feet from the village on the west side, and they park in nice, neat rows. And you can tell on the ground, it looks like that a lot of vehicles park here on a regular basis. There's no parking spaces or anything, but there are a lot of tire tracks and dents in the dirt where a tire has been for some time, and even a few vehicles that were already there when you arrived, but not many. Do you pull in with them?
Yes, I do. We do.
Okay. And Adolin will come up to you guys again as everyone is exiting, and he will say, Baker's Village is like our home away from home. They are very sympathetic to us, but because we never know where eyes and ears could be, we try not to discuss the resistance openly, if you catch my drift. My meaning. They don't say drift. If you catch my meaning.
We do catch your meaning. Are there members of the out of character Inferno? Can't remember what they're called.
Order of the Six.
The Order of the Six. I should write that down. The Order of the Six inside Baker's Village.
Go ahead and also write down that they are also commonly called the Radiant.
All right. Religious called the Radiant / Order of the Six. Okay. Thank you.
He'll say, they can be there, yes, but you'll know if they're there. Just watch for anything shining with gold.
I see. Well, you're the host here. We will follow behind you and hopefully not make too much trouble.
No, you are our guests. I can't imagine you making any trouble at all. In fact, I'm sure many would be interested of hearing of your culture and your gods.
Yes. Good. Xavier says, mentally trying to remember everything he said about it. I as Inferno do remember.
Right.
I remember quite well.
You're saying the
but
character.
Xavier is just like, oh yeah, all that bullshit I said.
Yeah.
I
Isaac's,
signed to you. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Isaac's going to gently nudge him in the ribs and give him a thumbs up. As in, you got this.
I do.
I'm going to nudge you and sign to you and say, this is your baby, okay?
I
Take care of it.
Heck, I don't want this baby.
This is your baby.
Bad.
Okay.
I want a return baby.
I want to imagine what
Put the
people
baby
see,
back.
the motions they're making when people are watching them. I don't want
Good.
this baby.
No, this could be this could be very useful to us, right? We might find some good opportunities here to make more of these stones, maybe even within Baker's Village, right? So works for me.
All right. So you are all led towards the gates of the city, where I'm sorry, Adolin would stop you on your way there, and he would say, also, we're not allowed by the Irradiant to have weapons, so we all carry weapons, but not visibly.
I see. Do the Radiant conduct any sort of searches to ensure you do not carry weapons? Or as long as it's out of sight, it is out of their mind?
It is rare. They can conduct searches if they want to. Who could stop them? But many of us believe it is worth the risk because, well, I'll tell you honestly, if a Radiant were to try and drag my sister off, rules be damned, I want to protect her.
I see. You are a fierce and noble man, Adolin. However, we as outsiders might take more of their ire or more of their suspicion. Can I finish my sentence first there, Talivek?
Sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Xavier will continue. I, for one, would rather leave my personal weapon here on the van, but be protected by your word. If there is to be harm undue and unfortunate, harm to come to us, if you swear to the bargaining god Seslios that you will protect us, that is all the weapons that we'll need.
His eyes widen, and he says, "You would let me swear to your god?"
Yes, of course. Seslios, the god of trade and bargains. He is the one to swear to, and he is always looking for new markets, whether that be in coin or in souls.
He would accept an oath from one such as me?
Yes, he would. Only because I am also a part of the bargain.
It matters not. I gladly give my oath. Me and my men will protect you with everything we can. And you see, it's not just him now. You see a few people nodding vigorously.
Good. Good. You shall be my first disciple.
Palpatine.
Good.
Unlimited
Now
power.
go. I no longer need this Jedi toy. Good. Go now. Spread the word of Seslios. All right.
Pretty good.
Oh my
That's
God.
good.
I'm going to disarm as well and put all of my stuff in my backpack.
Yeah, I'm good with putting my. No. Is it safer with me or in the van? Is my question.
Like to yourself?
Yeah.
Or are you asking us?
The
Yeah,
shurikens?
you know what? Since we're generally not well seen or whatnot, I'll put my weapon away. My goon. I'm
Yeah,
keeping the
I'll leave
rest
my
of
gun
my
in the van.
businesses, but
So what was your plus sign all about there, Talivek?
I wanted to roll a concealment check to see if I can conceal my sword.
I'm sure. By all means, roll a concealment check.
Okay. Let's see.
And just so you know, no one's checking you now, but what we can do is I will use this to gauge such an instance if it becomes important.
Sweet.
Okay. All right. So
He's like pre-rolling his check.
Exactly.
right.
I
And
love those. Those are my favorite.
just for the record, since we are in a enclosed area, I'm only bringing the sword, so that's the
Yeah,
only
I'll-
weapon
I'll-
I'm going to have.
I'll take
Okay.
the pistols back from you for now and put them
Okay.
in my backpack.
All right, here we go. I got a 75% chance, and oh my god!
Wow.
Oh my god!
Succeeded
Okay.
by
You
one.
definitely
Oh
succeed.
my!
You are able to hide your sword within the folds of your robe, so that at least at first appearance, and possibly more, it does not look as if you are carrying any weapons at all.
Good. All right,
Wow.
that's good.
I would also like to make a note that I am bringing absolutely no weapons whatsoever, except for my mind. Haha. And I will be taking off my headdress.
Bill
In
Nye would be
preparation.
proud of you. Bill Nye would be proud of you.
Is
Yes,
this
yes,
Bill
he would.
Nye also the name of a god?
Well,
He is the science guy.
Science god.
The science.
I'm bringing a weapon, but my mind. Bill Nye would be
Alright.
proud of you. All right.
But yeah,
all right.
I'm taking off whatever is covering Isaac's head. Then he's
Got
just
it.
going to carry it along with him.
Okay.
I am going to be still carrying my shurikens, and also something of evident that he's going to be carrying. He's going to be carrying his guitar case.
Okay. You don't need roll check or anything, but just so I know, I assume the shurikens will be out of view.
Yeah, he's not going to like hang it on his belt and be
Right.
like, "Oh, he's looking pretty."
Okay. All right.
Yep. I'm leaving my little pistol in the van because I have the greatest weapon of all, devoted followers. Who will do as I
Yeah.
ask. Who swore an oath to me.
All right.
This is the best
So
game ever.
you guys then start following Adolin towards the gate, and
Mhm.
the gate is opened outwards. It looks as if it's just part of the wall that just swings open on simple but sturdy hinges. And as you enter the gate, you see a rather unorganized collection of buildings. I hesitate to call them hovels or shacks because they are well built and very sturdy. They seem to be made of stone and some sort of mortar. Um, and if I could describe them in a word, they are gray and very sturdy, low to the ground buildings
Okay.
with stone tile like roofs. There are several pins with smallish lizard-like Palladiums that kind of just mule around.
Oh, God.
Um, there are no paved roads, but there are several dirt trails that weave in and out of the buildings. And hang on a second, my cat got his claw stuck on something. Sorry, guys.
Wow. My immersion. Your claw got his claw. Your
Just a
cat got his claw
giant
stuck on
cat
my
claw.
immersion, Squee.
That's what I was like. And the town also has a giant cat paw with one claw stuck in it.
Kitty, you gotta let go. There you
Wow.
go. Sorry about that.
Wow.
He's just looking at me like raising his paw up, like, hey,
Help.
help. All right. So there are no paved roads, but there are several dirt roads that weave in and out of the buildings. You see families of all kinds. Are dressed in similar apparel to Adolin and his men. Many of them wear half masks. A few of them wear full masks. A few of them, especially children, run around without masks. But you see everyone has if they're not wearing a mask, they have some form of mask on their or cloth on their belt or on their person somewhere. Um, from the gate, as you guys walk through the town, you also see a street downways that has several open stalls that seem to be selling wares of food or jewelry or other miscellaneous items. And Adolin motions to you guys and says, that is our market. You might find some things there you like. We don't have much to offer, but we do have some food and handcrafted items and a few magical items that we are allowed to keep for our own uses.
Yeah.
And he nods, and then as he's talking, his eyes like go past you, and his eyes widen, and he points behind you to a large pen, and in the large pen is a Palladium that looks about the size of a horse. It has a long neck and a reptilian-like head, and two large leathery wings that are folded to its sides, that it flaps once in a while, and 2 feet. And it's sitting there eating some sort of meat. And Adolin, his eyes widen, he goes, "That's Phyllis's mount. The old dog must be here. Oh, you guys are in for a treat. Phyllis tells the best stories."
Oh,
Oh.
fantastic. Where is he? Where would he usually be? Excuse me.
Oh, where we're going, the inn.
Come on.
He always spends his time and his stones there so that he can drink and regale us with the tales of being a nomad.
Oh, good. Xavier's ears perk at the sound of stones. Because we still technically, the only currency that we have is what we have to give to our buddy, right? So we'd be,
Yeah.
if we want to buy something, it had to be on loan. But as we travel to this area, Squee,
Mhm.
I'm curious. These markets, like that have food and the jewelry and perhaps a few miscellaneous, magical items.
Mhm.
Would these be like open air markets or like closed, like stone shops?
They look. How to best describe them? They look like. Okay, this is gonna sound a little bad, but it's the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
Imagine an outhouse, but wider. It is a fully enclosed wooden building along the side of the road that opens up to the street where you can display wares and have a countertop with all kinds of things on it, but looks like it could be closed up tightly very quickly.
Okay. All right.
Like a
I
giant
see.
cabinet.
Yes, like a giant cabinet. That's a good way to
Okay.
look at it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I can dig it. All right. And as we pass by, are there people kind of shopping now?
Yes, actually, it is late in the day. It's starting to get dark, but even now, there do seem to be a few people that peruse the shop.
Interesting. And they're all using these stones as currency, nothing else? No other
Yes, the
form?
few times you see any sort of currency change hands, it is stone. Some glowing, most not.
So this is why I'm thinking out of character. If it's getting dark, and I mean, we're going to a guy who can tell tall stories, and Xavier can tell tall tales too. I think that'd be a pretty darn. And if this guy's as revered as the people think, right? This might be an ample opportunity for a certain thief to nab some stones from some merchants.
Mm-hmm.
Acquire us some spending money. The best thing is that we're much beloved travelers. You know what I mean? With their own protection. As long as Talavac doesn't do anything too stupid, I think we'd be able to get some coins, get some stones.
Question
Thoughts?
is, does Talavac have the stones?
Oh God, I'm gonna
Bad
die.
puns!
No. Actually, this is cool because I've been wanting to actually steal something for a long time now.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
cool. So maybe this will be the plan. Like as we walk over, either Talavac will notice on his own, right, or one of us will kind of gesture over to the market stalls, and maybe Talavac can peel away a little bit. Maybe he'll say he's going to do some shopping or something like that, while the rest of us go with Adolin to this traveling nomad storyteller.
The only thing I would like to caution is if Talavac is caught and
Yep.
if they decide to unmask him, that could be a whole huge can of worms.
Okay, well, in this case, I would need someone, either you or Lucas, to accompany me to be a sort of distraction.
Oh,
Mhm.
Lucas is good at distract. Actually, both
Yep.
of you are good at distracting.
As long as you can keep that merchant's eyes off of me, then I have a way better chance of taking things.
I think. I mean, Piph, would you be down for that? Would Lucas be down for that?
Yeah, he can. He when he's you'll notice that he's generally excited about something before you ask, and and once you do, he kind of goes, "Oh, yeah, I could do that. I had thoughts of something else."
Well, I kind of pull you in. I'm like, what was it?
Oh, I bar scene, Railing of Tales, some stones, mate. I'm pretty good at those things. Heck, that's what I did before we even did any of this.
It doesn't matter where, just as long as we're in a group, get people enthralled. The more
Okay, well, how
enthralled,
Yeah. How about this? How about we all go to this drinking establishment, this meeting place, right?
Yeah.
And we do what we do, and if there's opportunities, great. Maybe at night, maybe some of us sleep, and maybe some of us, like Talavac, for example, maybe decides he wants to go for a stroll, right? There'll be very, very few people around, and a higher likelihood of his own success, of his own enterprise.
Yeah. And I just am sitting there just like cracking my knuckles and doing the head, twist, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm, all right, yeah, let's do this.
Okay. So first story time. Second,
I'll
daily
just,
time.
I'll just make my rounds around and just feel things out. No pun intended.
Don't take, of course. Don't take too many risks, though, right?
No, one or two most, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we just have to wait for God to come back to tell us what happens next, to fill in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea for what Isaac would want to do, and that would require going to the tavern in place.
Perfect.
Yeah. Because, I'm looking at this seduction skill.
Oh, boy. You know what? Don't
Might
get
as well,
space
try
herpes,
it out.
dude. Okay, so do you know how syphilis came into being? So there's this concept called the Columbian Exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Christopher Columbus and his men went over to the quote-unquote New World and came across the Native Americans there, they exchanged goods, but they also exchanged diseases. They got smallpox, and the Europeans got syphilis. So be careful who you bang, because I don't want a fucking Cyrene exchange going on here.
You'd wind up with something even worse.
I don't want space syphilis.
Oh.
Space herpes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just being, because we're waiting for Squee to get back, right?
Put a skin on the
I was
kielbasa.
making a joke about you getting a space STD. That's all.
Put a skin on the kielbasa.
You. Hi, we're back, Squee.
If that kind
we're all
of
gonna
stuff
go.
is
We're all
available
gonna
here,
go.
I guess.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was taking that moment to run to the restroom while you guys.
Okay. Well, after all that discussion, we're all just gonna go to this meeting place together.
Okay. All right. So no market yet.
Nope, not yet.
Alrighty then. So you guys are led to the largest building in the village. And I was half tempted to just pull out my tavern map.
Oh,
but
just
I will not.
do it. Come on.
I will not.
Don't. No, I don't want to look at that fucking tab.
No.
I have an X in my head.
No. We don't have to at all.
I want to take the bar area in the back. That one with the stool.
You guys are led to the biggest building in the village, and you're led in, and it is remarkably clean. Outside, things are covered in fine layers of dust. It's everywhere. It's the type of thing that gets into your clothing. But inside, there is 2 rooms. You walk into the door, and the first room you go into, and no one seems to explain this to you. They just all walk in there and they shake off and they slap their arms and pat down their legs and kick their boots against the wall, shaking off excess dust and dirt. And then they wipe their feet on like a mat in front of another door, which they then open and enter the tavern proper.
Oh, a foyer area.
It's a dust collection bin.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to think Xavier's swift enough to pick up on it after he sees like the second or third guy do this. And he'll do the same.
All right.
Dust sucks.
Yeah.
Follow in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you enter a surprisingly clean room, all things considered. There is, of course, some dirt here and there, and but you don't see any rats. You don't see any thing that would be considered a mess or a clutter. The tables are well kept. They are carved out of some sort of it looks like wood, but it's jet black, and it seems to be thick and smooth. And there is a fireplace in the back of the tavern or the inn that is roaring in the background and creates a gentle warmth for the entire room. So when you walk into it, I haven't gone into it too much. The atmosphere in this world is slightly above chilly. It's not warm, it's not cold, it's long sleeve weather. You could survive out there. From what you've seen so far, you could survive out there, but you'd be uncomfortable if you weren't wearing all the clothing that you do.
It's
So-
nippy. It's nippy.
Exactly. It's a little bit nippy. So when you walk into the tavern proper, the fire in the back creates a gentle warmth into the room that you guys haven't felt since you left the second chance. And there are about 7 or 8 people already seated around the fire with an older gentleman in front of it. And this man, he looks like he's in his 60s.
Okay.
And he is leaning forward, and has everyone's eyes on him, and he's just telling them, there I was, staring down the throat of a Palladium twice my size, with nothing but my nomad knife and my wits. And then he stops and he looks up. Adolin, my boy! Come to hear my tales, have you? And Adolin smiles, and then he motions for you guys to come, and he kind of brings you guys forward through the 10 or so other men who have come with you guys into the tavern. And he says, Phyllis, I'd like you to meet our new friends. They are travelers from across the waste. And then he just kind of holds his hand out towards you.
Phyllis does?
Adolin does.
Okay. After a moment, as Xavier kind of looks between Adolin and it's Phyllis, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna just write that down. Phyllis the Nomad. All right. No, don't close this, you stupid. All right. And he'll give a very small bow, and he'll say, "Greetings. They call me Thedo. Thedo the Trader, and Thedo, well, a few other nicknames, but I assure you, it's a pleasure to meet you."
Thedo, pleasure to meet you. He slaps you on the back really hard, pow. Yeah, from across the waste, huh? I fly around, and even I have not traveled that far. Must have been quite a journey.
I'm sure it could probably put some of your tales to shame, Thedo says. Thedo says, and now Thedo didn't have to say that, but Xavier didn't like that hearty slap. So now this is what we're gonna do.
Phyllis eyes him and goes, "Ho, that sounds like a challenge."
Good, because that's exactly what it was meant to sound like.
And then he'll look over to Talavac and say, "Are you all storytellers then? Come to usurp my throne?" He says in a very jolly look on his face.
I just nudge Xavier and San. This guy's a fucking moron.
Xavier goes back. Let's take him for all he's got.
And then I'm just gonna put my arms at my side.
Okay. Laughter is fun. All right. Anyways, Theta will respond, "I cannot speak of all my traveling companions, but I can spin a tale, although much of it will be from personal experience. So it is less creativity and more recollection.
He looks at you, wounded, and he says, "Well, of course, my good sir. All tales are only worth anything if they are true."
Xavier, as Thedo, will raise his hand and say, perhaps that was a miscommunication in our different cultures. From our lands, the word story can mean both a fictional or a real story.
And he nods solemnly, and he drapes like an arm around you and says, and nods solemnly and goes, "True, true. But real men tell real stories. But of course you know that."
Of course I do. And then Theta will look over at his companions and say, how about the rest of you?
I'm thirsty.
"Yes, how about the rest of you?" he says.
Lucas says, "I'm a real man."
Go meet the new man.
Phyllis steps over to you and says, "Right you are," and he like punches Lucas in the shoulder.
Oh.
Like not too hard. Okay, it doesn't look like it's hard, but Lucas, you feel that this man, even in his 60s, he's got some sort of thin, wiry muscle on him. That punch had some oomph to it.
How much STC did I take?
No, not.
You're in an MDC armor, aren't you?
No.
He's in
No.
a but no, it's not something designed to hurt you. It's just, it's like when you grip someone's handshake and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that was stronger than I was expecting, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's a hands-on guy.
Yeah.
So
It's like me when I was 16. Oh man, sorry. Small aside, when I was in the play Grease, my acting of being jolly with everyone was like hitting them on the shoulder and hugging them until I was told to like ease off. And a friend of mine in the program is like, "Hey Dave, it was nice acting with you. My shoulder doesn't hurt anymore."
You get into it, you know?
Why did you carry that into your history reenactments? That would have been amazing.
It would have been. Oh my god. Anyway, so I know
Othello.
what this guy's like.
Isaac will respond with, I'm not one for telling tales. I fight. And I drink. That's what I do.
And he makes love to the ladies.
Phyllis, again, almost an exact opposite of how he just reacted to Lucas, drapes an arm around Lucas's neck and solemnly nods and says, "Well, of the 3 things worth doing in life, at least you got 2." And he kind of slaps you in the shoulder.
All right.
Why is he hanging on me?
I don't know, but Thedo is moving to the other side of the fireplace.
He meant Isaac. It's okay. God.
Sorry, yeah, he slapped Isaac in the
Yeah,
shoulder.
he slapped
Sorry.
Isaac.
I think he likes me.
And he says, "Well, guests. Well, I'm a guest too, I suppose, considering that I don't actually live here. But you are true guests. Here, sit, have around the fire. I was just telling them my tale of when I faced down a soldier."
How many people are gathered around there, Squeeperino?
There were about 6 when you walked in the room, all men of varying ages. And then about 10 of the, I guess you would say, Adolin's men came with you. So there's 10 plus Adolin plus the 6 that were already there. Now, the Adolin and the men who came with them seem look at Phyllis eagerly. You know, they seem very in jovial spirits now.
I see. Okay, good. And the fireplace, is that the main light source of this place?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll gather around. Although I want to make sure, like, Xavier's gonna strategically position himself so that like Lucas is always between him and and Phyllis.
Lucas would notice this, but his mind is just filled with carnival music.
And between us, we got a lot of songs in our heads.
Okay, small aside. Again, when was in the military, I used to have to do long road marches between 12 to 24 miles at a stretch, which would take a very long time of marching and doing nothing. I kid you not. I would pass hours at a time of nothing, thinking of nothing but a monkey on a unicycle juggling in my head to that song. It actually works.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, small aside.
Okay, Squee, I'm doing something here. I'm using my eyes and all of my eye optics and just my judgment, and I'm going to try to find exits, how many obstacles in the way. I need to try to find some escape plans if things go sour. Scan the place as best as I can.
Okay. You find that there is a door. Okay, there is a here. Actually, you know what? Let me do a quick drawing for you guys.
Yay!
Yay! Do a
I
freak.
like.
So,
Draw me this.
the building is basically a rectangle like that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys came in here. That's the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
Hot.
Um,
I love how when we're drawing
Hot
this, it's
now.
always in the background of this stormy hellhole.
what? I didn't know
Big
this.
lightning bolt going through the kitchen.
Yeah.
There is a bar
Mm-hmm.
here, where they serve the drinks come from.
Right.
There appears to be a door behind the bar that it looks like it goes back into the kitchens that are probably back here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course there's a lot of tables. The fireplace is right here, and all the chairs and people are gathered around like this.
Okay.
Cool.
One more question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the size? What is the dimensions in here? What are the? How big is it?
Let me think for a second. I would say about 200 feet by 100 feet.
It's a pretty big place.
200 feet this way, 100 feet that
Mhm.
way. But yeah, there's enough for you. You could probably pack 100 people in here if you
Okay.
tried.
Okay. Any other doors anywhere? I mean.
Doors, no, but you do see windows dotting the walls. Every so often, you see circular windows. They're smaller than what you might be used to. They look almost more like portholes than windows. And in fact, you guys have noticed as you go around the town that most buildings have these smaller circular windows.
Is there like any sort of cross or bars across them, or are they just still straight up like portholes, or like you just see
No,
right
there actually are panes of glass in them, but they are separated. They're basically, most of them have a crossbar and 4 panes of glass on either side of it, but the crossbars seem very sturdy.
through? Gotcha.
Okay. All right. And there, what's the diameter of them? Could I fit through one if I happen to get the glass out, or no?
It would be a squeeze, but you could probably do it. Isaac, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I'd say about 2 feet wide.
2 feet
And then
wide?
yeah, 2 feet. Let's say a what's diameter? What's the crossways of a circle? Is that a diameter?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All the way
The
across,
diameter is
yeah.
about 2 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half
Okay.
of that is a radius. The outside of the circle is the circumference.
So they look like manhole covers.
Yeah, a lot like that.
A lot like those. Okay. Well, that's not too big. I could probably fit. Okay. I just need to find some possible escape exits. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, smaller than a manhole cover though, because manhole
oh.
covers are designed for men to go through.
Okay.
This would be a tight fit. So yeah.
Okay. Little man covers. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine. So the foyer is the only real exit. Okay. All right. I'm just putting this all in my head because I need to be at the top of my game for this.
I understand.
Yep.
He needs an exit strategy.
Yeah.
He might try to slap your shoulder again. I get it. I'm with you. I'm following.
Okay. Anywho.
So he sits back down and he continues his story. And are you all sitting down around the fire as well?
Sure, yeah, I'll let him finish his original story before we start this wager that he speaks of.
All right. Isaac, Talek,
Mm-hmm.
what are you guys doing?
He already knows where Lucas is.
Yeah, I already noticed for Lucas.
I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna pretend to play along until it gets busier. I need more people in here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna.
Right.
I'm just gonna chill.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to pay attention to the first, what you call it, the first story.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All right.
let's
So
just put...
he sits back down and he says, "So, like I said, I was ranging out on my own, scouting for the Palladians, and a high storm had just passed not 3 hours before, so a fresh layer of dust was on everything. My old mount was having trouble staying aloft. The dust was kicking so much on her wings, and I spotted tracks. Tracks, of course, can maybe lead to a nest, which is always good. So I followed the tracks, and I thought I was being careful. Thought I was being smart. But my old mount, well, she wasn't what she used to be. And she tore something in one of her wings. She landed gracefully enough, bless her soul, enough to save my life, if not her own. And there I was, stranded in the middle of nowhere, following the tracks of a soldier's Palladium with no method of escape. And I thought to myself, now this is a situation. But I didn't panic. I figured, it's all right. I'll just light one of the flares, have my brethren come find me, and pick me up. Well, unfortunately for me, lighting flares comes with their risks. The soldier I had been tracking spotted it easily enough, and came. And here I was, waiting for my brethren when I heard it, the growl that we all know so well, the growl that we fear. Well, I knew then that things were dire, for you can't outrun a soldier on your feet. Better chance facing them face to face, as small a chance as that may be. So I pulled out the only weapon I had, my dagger, and I faced it, and I planted my feet firmly in the ground. And the soldier is an old, grizzled soldier with an eye torn out. Looked like he'd seen as much fighting as I had. He knew he had me. Took his time, walked up slowly, sniffing the air, shaking his head from side to side so that he could see me with his good eye. But I stood my ground. I stood my ground and I stared him down until we were just feet apart, and he looked at me. And I raised my dagger to him and I said, "You want me? You come and get me." And you know what happened? He says, looking over to Lucas.
Lucas goes, "No, sir. What happened next?"
Phyllis lowers part of his shirt, and you see three very large scars that look like gashes. And he says, "What do you think, boy? He swiped me and I got knocked off 20 feet. Surprised I didn't die right then and there. The thing would have had me for sure if my friends hadn't have come in time and scared it off. Stories are nice, but no man's gonna fight a soldier on his own and live. I count myself lucky that day, and I hope to never see the likes again. And with that, he kind of sits back, and everyone starts like clapping appreciatively.
Great.
Thedo, Xavier as Thedo, will give a polite little clap along with everyone else. And he'll say, a brave tale and one that you can easily give evidence for. You definitely spin a fine web, but I wonder if you were simply jesting about your comment before, when I said that I perhaps would have a tale or two that might outdo your own. Were those friendly words to a stranger, or are you willing to put stones to the words that you speak?
There is, the room grows quiet for just a second, and then you
Lucas in the
hear,
background. Oh shit! He did not just say that.
At this point, Isaac will get up, shaking his head and shrug, and start walking over to the bar. As if this is something that Thedo does all the time.
oh, I see.
Thedo kind of does. In his own way.
It takes there's only about a second of silence, and then you start to hear, "Take him on, Phyllis! Yeah! Show the foreigner what for!" And then you see a few of Aelin's men go, excuse me. Sorry. I'm sorry, Inferno, is it Thetis?
Well, my name?
Yeah.
Thedo.
Thedo.
Play-Doh.
Okay, Thedo. You hear from Aelin's men, "Tell him, Thedo! Tell him about the gods!"
I will. Okay.
Even I, as a GM, have trouble doing this with a straight face sometimes.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
And Phyllis raises his hands and kind of quiets everyone down. And he says, "Well, I see no reason why they can't be both. Friendly words to a stranger and something I'm willing to bet stones on.
Ah.
If you truly think you've got a tale to tell, well, I should give you fair warning. I was saving it for later, but I have a doozy. But your word of honor, it must be truthful."
Yes. It must be truthful. Then how about this? We put out a bounty for the best tale. I speak of one, you speak of one, and Theta will look over towards Lucas. Would you also like to participate?
Lucas thinks for a second. Should we group up like we usually do?
No. How about an individual tale apiece? Make it fair for Phyllis.
Lucas thinks for a second, and he nods like he smelled something bad, but is appreciative of it.
Oh. You're welcome. But you do nod, right?
Yes.
So the question will be, how much is a good tale worth? And Theta will look over to Phyllis.
Phyllis will say, "Well, a good tale. I'd say a good tale's worth 50 pebbles. Now, a grand tale, the tales the likes of which I want to hear, well, that's worth 5 fists. What do you say?"
Thedo will pause for a moment and look over towards Lucas.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Gems. 5 gems. I'm forgetting my own currency. 5 gems.
5
I was
gems.
about
Okay.
to say that's a
Yeah,
lot. That's a
I know.
huge.
Yeah,
amount.
that's a huge discrepancy.
Small fortune there. 5 gems.
Hmm.
Okay.
Darn.
Got you
hold
excited.
Got our hopes up.
Okay. But Thedo will look over to Lucas and he'll say, "Sounds fair to me. How about you?"
Lucas will say, "Hey, I'm just in it for a good time, but we won't put down some. If you want to put something down, I wouldn't shy away."
Very well. We have a deal. Who shall go first? Shall we draw lots to determine?
Lots. No. You're the guests here. Your choice. But first, someone bring the truth amulet. And then you hear, like, the truth amulet.
What the fuck is a truth amulet? You motherfucker, I was gonna tell a story about the goddamn goddess. Because it would have been true, dearest. Now I gotta come up with something. Oh my god.
Oh my
Okay.
god, this is the
No,
worst
no, 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 no,
possible.
No. This will work for me. This will work for me. This will work for me. This will be great. Sorry, please continue. Sorry, I just wanted to say in character, the second he says the word truth amulet,
The what?
stands like stiff as a board.
What?
The truth!
The truth. All right. After about a minute or so, someone comes back with a silver chained necklace that has what looks like a copper talon holding a small, looks like green marble, and Phyllis takes it in his hand and he says, and he looks over to Thedo and Lucas and says, "You are, of course, foreigners. Have you ever seen one of these?"
Thedo shakes his head slowly.
He nods and he says, "It will not harm you, my word. Put it on." And he holds it out to you.
It is our custom, the custom of Seslios, that all offered objects are first put upon the offerer and then the receiver. Would you care to put it on first, as is our custom?
Fair enough. And he nods and he puts it around his neck and he says, "When I was a lad of 3, I had to murder my own father." And nothing happens.
Okay.
And then he takes a brief moment and he goes, "When I was a lad of 16, I got my first kiss." And the marble, the green marble, lights up with shining green. And the room goes, "Ah," and he goes, "Ah. 'Tis true. I was not but 21 before my first kiss."
Thedo bites his lip underneath his mask, trying to restrain the smartass Xavier saying something. It worked temporarily.
He then takes the necklace off and passes it over to you. And he says, "Put it on, speak a truth, and then a falsehood."
Okay. Xavier will say, "We traveled a very long, harrowing way to get here, and I am constantly surprised by your people and your culture."
And the gym does not react.
It's true. Thedo will then say, "Now for a falsity. Let me think. I just want to
No,
think
by
of
all
something
means, by all
creative. Because
means.
I could just make up anything, but I want to come up with something creative.
No. It's more fun if you have time to really.
Oh my
Alright,
God. Wait a second. I got a crazy idea.
Oh, okay.
No. You don't. No. Wait. I'm not gonna do this. You don't know who's listening. He did warn us. You don't know who's listening. Okay. I'm not gonna challenge the mad gods just yet. No. Let's do this nice and PG. Data will then just say, when I was 16, I climbed the highest mountain just to see what was there. And of course, it'll turn. Was it black?
Green, bright green.
It'll turn bright green. Xavier didn't climb no mountain in his life. He had to. All right.
As Phyllis will hold his hand out for it and nodding to you with a huge smile.
Mm-hmm.
And then, do you give it back to him?
Yes, I do.
And then he will pass it over to Lucas and he'll say, you as well. One truth and one falsehood.
I learned 50 different ways to kill a man.
The room is very quiet.
Did he learn from a man named Pearson Cullimore? All right.
And then
Is that it?
I slept with a woman to get millions of pebbles. There were credits.
There were credits. Lols.
Oh, bright green.
yeah, it goes bright green, and you hear Phyllis say, "Ha ha! A lie if ever I heard one. If only a man could sleep with a woman and make that much money."
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be insane?
Mm-hmm.
And he asks for it back, and he says, "As I said, you're the guest here. Who goes first?"
Xavier will shrug his shoulders and he'll say, my tale will be my tale. It will not matter whether it is the first spoken from my lips or the last. I'm neutral.
And he'll look to Lucas.
A straight tale. It's a new one for me. Alright, I'll give it a shot.
That's my man. And then he holds over the necklace to you.
Where do you get one of these?
He looks at it and he goes, well, most taverns have one. How can you tell a good story without knowing it's the truth? As far as where can you get them? Well, you might be able to find one in the market somewhere.
Might come in handy.
Unless you're married. And the whole room just like starts roaring with laughter.
Well, there's been plenty of women I would love to know if they were telling me the truth. And it will not glow at all.
Once again, Xavier bites his lip underneath his mask.
All right. He goes, all right, lad, regale us. And then he sits back in his chair. No, he stands up and he motions for you to take the chair by the fire, facing everyone else.
Alright. I've been in many adventures with many different folks of all different shapes and sizes, but with this group has taken the cake. Sorry, that wouldn't be a phrase.
Taking the Palladium pie.
This one beats them all. There was quite a few thieves, pirates, who came along, was taking caravans full of gems. Which is also true. There's that one thing where there's just jewelry, that heist.
It is true.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is very clever wording.
And we were told to take care of these folks. They were organized and they were cunning. But we were such a small group. Came in with just us four plus a few that helped make sure our transportation didn't wane. And, of course, we had to use all of our wits and resources against this, because we were not just taking down just a normal group, not just a few here and there. Apparently we've gotten a bit too deep with this one. It wasn't just a simple raiding. This was a highly organized, you could say military-like. They were doing something. They were trying to obtain a small section to rise up against. What were they trying to rise up against?
Do you need a refresher?
Honestly, as a
or-
player, I can't remember.
Okay. They were actually transgalactic employees, military, and they were trying to start a fight with the CCW.
CCW, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. Something called the CCW. You probably have not heard of them. And they will not glow.
Fair bet.
But trust me, they're a force to be reckoned with. Now, we had to not only take down just a few of their vessels, but their stronghold as well. We, as a singular group, has infiltrated and completely destroyed their entire sector by ourselves, with a few helps of our friends, but there was a few close calls. Many have died, but we have come out of that unscathed and quite wealthy for such a thing. It was one of my closest to death experiences, and it will glow at that point. Sorry, of course there was a few closer, but it was definitely up there, and I will not glow for that one. That'll be the end of that tale.
The end.
The end. Question, Lucas. Do you have any skills that you want to use while telling this tale, or do you just want it to be roleplay only, or?
You know what? I don't want it to be roleplay only. What I like to do, I would like to do it as a jazz piece where I'm doing in like slow cutted things and also have a flute out and play a few notes in between.
I see. So using the music to accompany the story.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Roll a instrument musician check for me.
I only have one instrument on me. Only the one.
The only weapon you need.
Ooh, nice job.
You succeed. Okay. The audience is very quiet during the story, and they all seem very intent upon you. and your very unusual storytelling style. And when you are finally done, when you have finished speaking and the last notes of your flute fade away, there is a thunderous clapping. And you see Phyllis himself clapping as well.
I will also clap.
And Phyllis will, after it dies down, he'll nod and he'll say, a fine tale indeed. We're taking down an entire band of murderers and thieves is not an easy task, nor for the faint of heart. A heroic tale, if ever I heard one. And then he'll look to Thedo. Would you like to try and do better?
Oh, I would. But please go first, Thedo says, giving a kind nod, while internally Xavier is screaming. He's still trying to think of something.
Phyllis will nod and say, as you wish. And then he will take the necklace from Lucas, assuming Lucas gives it to him.
He's going to admire it a bit too long while handing it over.
One of those things where he like takes it, pulls it a little bit.
Give me a second.
Taps at it with his finger.
Phyllis will put the amulet on, and then he will sit where Lucas was sitting, and he will say, I am afraid, my friends, that I am going to win tonight, for I bring you a tale that happened to me not 2 days past, when I saw one of the mad gods defeated in combat. And when he says that, everyone starts, as hushed whispers start going everywhere, and the gemstone is not lighting up at all. And he lets the hush whispers continue, and then he goes, I was on my mount, scouting, when a high storm flew up around me, as they often do, with no warning, with no chance to evade it. I knew that it was dangerous, but I rode the currents as best I could, for I am no pup, and I have weathered high storms before. But then I saw it, the mad god Draxus, the beast, the Palladium behemoth. No, it is an injustice to call it a behemoth. The god. I saw it in the clouds, and I thought it had come for me, to pay me back for my foolish mistakes against the Radiant. But I was not on its mind, no. For at that moment, when I saw it, through the storm, through the clouds, burst a beast, the likes of which I've never seen. Pale blue skin, with white wings that spread outwards, and fire for a tail, I tell ye true. This beast flew through the air with a grace I've never seen, and I think it offended the mad god, or maybe it challenged the mad god, but whatever it did, the mad god attacked it. It clawed onto this beast, and I thought for sure it would kill it, biting at it, gnawing at it, scratching at it, with the talons of a god. But this beast, she flew true. She flew true, and she spit some green fire at it, burning the mad god, making it let go. And I watched in wonder, as the mad god flew back towards it, trying to bite its flanks, only to be whipped in the face with its fiery tail, whipped so hard that the mad god screamed. And I pray ye never hear the voice of a pained god. The mad god retreated, whimpering away, and this beast, this marvelous creature, the likes of which I have ne'er seen before, flew off majestically into the storm. I do not know what it is, but what can beat a god, if not another god? And then with that, He slowly leans back, and like the room is just silent. And his gem is dead. No glow, no nothing.
Wait, didn't you say that he defeated a god, or is he just
No,
saw
he
one?
witnessed it being defeated.
Okay.
And that's so great because now we have a plan of attack. or Xavier does if he wants to go that route.
Oh no, I know what you mean. I know what you're thinking of, but I don't think I'll go particularly that route.
Okay.
Although I could because he did give me an opening for a god, but Xavier was just think, oh, these, even their best storyteller is a fucking idiot.
Well,
All right.
I was thinking more along the lines of the mount of this god or something like that, but have fun. You do that.
Oh yeah, no problem. Oh no, I definitely appreciate it. And if I didn't already have something already in my head, I probably would have gone with that. But Xavier not knowing what to say and me not knowing what to say are two completely different things. I'm assuming this story by just a second, Phyllis, doesn't get really a clap, does it? It just gets more stunned silence.
Exactly. Lots of stunned silence.
Tough act to follow. I'll wait for him to stand and to hand me the talisman, but I'm not going to break the silence myself.
He will stand quietly and then hand the talisman, being a showman himself, and hands it to you, and then quietly takes your seat.
Xavier paces around. Is it a stool or a chair?
It's a chair.
Yeah, he paces around the chair a little bit. And he finally sits down. And you can hear through the mask that he's about to start a few things, and then he gives a bit of a sigh. He looks at everyone around him, probably still more than a little bit stunned at the tale that they just heard. And he'll say, I could tell you a story about the gods, could tell you much about the triumvirate. I could be like brave Phyllis and speak of the defeat of the divine. I could speak of tales of great bravery of heroes men. Neil nod over to Lucas. But instead, I'll just tell the story of a boy. A boy scarce of 7 rotations of the sun around Cyrene. A boy who had, like many of us have, a loving parent or two. And he lived in a village, much like Baker's village. Nothing opulent, but filled with hard workers and noble people. But, as we know, fate sometimes whips us and turns us asunder, like the winds and the storms that rack our planet. Tragedy befalls villages. Tragedy, sometimes in the form of the gods, sometimes in the form of natural disaster. But this tragedy was one of the eldest tragedies we all know. Not of Palladium, not of beast, but of fellow beings. Cruel, heartless, murderous men and women. They didn't come to conquer, to take over our village. Nope, they came to destroy it. Imagine, now, think inwardly. Every single person that you knew, every single memory that you formed is at risk, is about to turn to ash. What could you do? like you were stuck inside a cave with your back against stone and a roaring Palladium staring at you. How could you escape? The simple answer is this: you cannot. Not by yourself, but a trusted friend, a unexpected source, could be your salvation. And for this young boy of 7 years, that salvation came. Not of a blazing god with a flaming sword, not of a Palladium with gnashing teeth and claws that could cleave through 17 men. Came in the guise of a woman of 43 years. Unassuming, portly, actually quite corpulent. But she had one thing that the invaders did not have, and that was a brains in her head and a fully functioning heart. She saw the young boy and she took mercy. And she did not get him out of that village by blazing a noble and bloody path, but instead by tricking the men, by hiding the young boy in a series of pots that she knew that these men would not investigate, for it broke their religious scruples. And it was there that the young boy finally faced true freedom. This was not a great tale at all. No great accomplishments, just simple survival. But I think the moral of this tale is stronger than anything else that was heard here tonight, because it pertains to all of us. We all need to struggle. We all need to survive. And we all sometimes need to be the people to help others out. And then with that, he'll stand and he'll stop. And for that, I was thinking about it. And I'm not going to be using my trust or intimidate like MA ability, because trust is irrelevant. The necklace, the talisman, lets people know whether I'm telling the truth or not, right? So that's implicit trust. The other is intimidate. Well, I'm not trying to intimidate these people, right? So just straight in character storytelling, whatevers.
Okay. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Mhm.
Right. So, let me think here.
Suck on that one, Phyllis.
Inferno,
Yes.
roll me a D100 and basically you're trying to get under 75. Okay.
Okay, I got a 44. Sorry.
Right. No, it's fine. I'm just
I
thinking.
muted myself before or afterwards. I can't. I don't know.
The room is quiet again. A very quiet room this evening. And when the tale is done, Phyllis stands up and he says, I would not split the audience with the tough decisions such as this. And I am not so stingy that I can't appreciate a good story when I hear one. Sirs, he says to both of you, I would pay 5 gems just for the honor of having heard that. And with that, he will hand over to Xavier a small leather pouch.
Xavier takes it, gives a bit of a nod, and he'll remove the necklace quickly from his frame, and handing it back, he says, "Thank you. You are as noble as you are a honeyed storyteller. I find it interesting that you saw one of your mad gods get wounded."
Not my gods.
No, of course not. One of the gods get wounded.
He nods. He says, "These men, they live under the yoke of the Radiant. They are afraid to speak of them. They call them their gods out of fear. You and I, we know better. We know these gods are not here for us."
Xavier will give a smile, and he'll just think, well, maybe he's not a complete idiot. Before replying as Thedo. Any other words would simply repeat your truth.
He nods, and then he says, "Bah! Enough of this gloom. Drinks!"
Yes. Okay.
I'm sorry, I should probably also suggest it was a fantastic story. And here's my share. And he'll hand you a pouch as well. And
Me?
it jingles. Yeah.
Xavier will look at Lucas, and unfortunately he can't see through his mask, but he's staring at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And he'll pause for a moment, and curiosity gets the best of him, and he looks inside the pouch that Lucas gives him.
It's a bag of glass marbles.
He will give a very subtle sigh before putting them away, reminding himself to give them back to Lucas at the next point in time.
I wouldn't expect
Thank
anything
goodness
less.
I bought that the last time I went shopping.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
So you're saying, because I don't want Lucas to lose his marbles, so I'll keep on to them for a while.
Oh, they've been gone.
You don't want Lucas
hate
to
to
lose
lose my
his
marbles.
marbles. This is so good. Okay.
All
There you
right.
go.
With that, the tavern erupts in talking and drinking and merriment, and you have a lot of people crowd around all three. Lucas, you have people that crowd around and ask for more details about the stories, and Xavier,
Mhm.
people crowd around, and they don't ask so much for details
Mhm.
as share their respect.
Oh.
And then
we
of course you
respect.
hear people also crowding around Phyllis, asking him more details about the battle that he witnessed, and did, even despite them wearing the necklace, did the Mad God really get hurt, and all these kinds of questions. And this goes on for quite some time. So if anyone wants to do anything or roleplay anything, let me know.
I have a question. Is there
Sure.
any music playing?
No.
Okay.
Unless Lucas decides to.
Okay.
Yes,
That's what I
I
wanted to
want
know.
to try to gain some cash. He's gonna do exactly the same thing he did way at the beginning of the campaign. It's just like, I can work for you for some minimal pay if you'd like. I'm a pretty good well, whatever I do with this thing, and he's wielding around like a long, thick pipe with holes in it as it whistles through the air.
The bartender, who is a young fellow, says, "Well, we ain't never had a musician here before. I reckon, how much do you charge?"
I don't know particular prices around here. The usual currency is a fist, but No, sorry. Gem. Gem.
Vindicated.
Dang it.
Not just me. Not just me. He goes, well, that seems fair. All right. You play for my customers for an evening, and I'll give you a gem. You delight them enough, maybe I'll give you 2 gems.
Lucas grins. Well, sounds fantastic. All right. He looks giddy, and he's. When should I start?
Oh, right now, if you would.
Is there a place, or should I go from table to table?
The bartender, like never taking his eyes off you, just kind of swipes some cups out of the way of the bar.
Oh, he wants me to stand on the bar? All right. Lucas leaps up onto the bar, spry as a young man at his age. And he will pivot around and spread his arms out. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be your entertainment for the evening. Tales are over, but there's still going to be some nice tones for you to enjoy your company with family and friends. And maybe somebody new, huh? Eh? As he takes his flute and while doing a bit of footwork with the beat, like tapping or thumping, he's going to continue as jaunty tavern music.
All right.
While you are doing that, I will be scanning the bar, and the rest of the tavern to see if there are any ladies. And I will also be slamming my pint glass along with the beat to help you out.
All right.
I'm just trying to think what I would do, or more specifically, what Theta would do. I don't think Theta will be a drinker, as odd as that sounds. So I think, other than talking with the people who want to talk with him in regards to his tale and that sort of thing, their own personal struggles and all that good stuff, I think while Lucas is doing his thing, I'll try to find Adolin and converse with him for a little bit. Now, we don't have to do that in character. Suffice to say, it's more just rehashing what happened today, you know, what went wrong, what went right, and what we can do together to make tomorrow a lot easier to retrieve these gems.
We can definitely do that part out of character. However, if you do go seek Adolin out, I would want a small character interaction, if that's okay.
Sure, no, that's more than fine. But since I just told a big-ass long story, I'm more than willing to do that after Lucas.
Of course. I was going to say, let's let Lucas
tell it back. Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that after other things resolve.
Okay.
All right. Lucas, why don't you first roll a check?
May I do flute and dance? Or do you want one or just the other?
No, do both, actually. I like that.
All right. Flute first.
Okay.
I succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And dance. I've been rolling so hot. Oh my...
Wow.
Do you like -3?
I do. And so does the audience. All right, you succeed. You don't mess up any of your dance steps. You don't mess up any of your notes. You're not at the best you've ever been, but you are at the best you normally are, which for you is still pretty amazing. And as you do your song and dance for a few hours, more and more people kind of filter in, hearing the noise from outside, the music from the streets, and the the inn is soon full of bustling people, and you even get a few people to clear a space in front of the bar and dance to some of your songs.
Mm-hmm.
And while this is going on, because Isaac's performing for, what would you say, Isaac, an hour, 2 hours? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Lucas. Lucas.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Isaac is fiddly-dee dancing. No, Lucas. How long would you say Lucas would perform for?
He would. A normal night gig would be, well, let's see, would temp. I would say he would do 2 to 3 hours, depending on how he feels about it.
Okay, so we'll say at least 2 hours. All right, so while this is going on, Isaac or Talavac? Would you guys like? So basically, as the 2 hours progress, it goes from, what did I say? So 16, 17, so about 22 people total, including you guys, to about 40 people over the course of those 2 hours.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the best optimal time, and then I'm gonna move in. So basically, whenever there's a good crowd of people, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
May I post a link, Squee?
Sure.
Alright.
All right. I will say I'm going to I'm gonna ask you to start being specific in what you're doing, because I'm gonna need you to know what you're doing exactly,
Okay,
who
okay.
you're doing it to, and when you.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I'm being vague. I know. I am going to actually, I'm going to get into Lucas's music and kind of dance a little bit. And as I'm dancing, I'm going to be dancing around people and kind of bumping into them or something and be festive. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
do understand.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm just gonna try to find somebody. Just about anybody who looks they're enthralled with the music, and go for them.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
2 questions actually. One.
Okay. Uh-huh.
How long do you want to do this for? And 2, how many attempts do you want to make at people's pockets or bags or whatnot?
I'm not gonna push it. I'm only gonna do this about maybe 2 times, and that's about it.
2 attempts, and in the course of how many minutes?
Uh,
Like how long are you gonna spend doing the dancing routine?
okay. I'm gonna dance. If I'm successful, I'm gonna take a break for about 20 minutes maybe, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna do it again if he's still playing, and then one more time, and then that's it. Then I'm done.
Okay, so 2 attempts for the first 20 minutes of dancing.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to give you a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can roll. You can roll 1 skill check at a slight penalty, or 2 skill checks at no penalty. Under the idea that you're technically going to make 2 attempts, so you can roll it into 1 roll at a slight penalty because it's harder to succeed twice, or you can try and do them each individually. I'll leave that up to you.
All right. What's my penalty?
I'd say 10%.
10? Okay. That's the combined? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go.
Wait, what are you doing?
Yeah, which are you doing?
Oh, the combined.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm not looking. Oh, son of a bitch.
What did you need?
I needed I had a 60 base, 6, 7, 8, so I flubbed it by like 18%. Of course I would. I should have spammed some rolls.
All right.
I can't do nothing. I quit. Goodbye.
Wait. You failed by 18. Give me a second.
And that's the last we ever heard of Talavac.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But I got an excuse, though, because I wanted the dancing thing to be a distraction. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't mean to.
All right. So here's what's going to happen, because you didn't fail horribly, but you did fail pretty bad. You're dancing. Everyone's having a merry time. Everyone's paying attention to Lucas. Everyone is not paying attention to you. Here's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
The first attempt, you bump into someone. You make a swipe at their inner pocket.
Mm-hmm.
and you don't feel anything.
Okay.
And you just make a quick, because you have to make a really quick swipe, and you get something or you don't.
Right.
And then the second time, you bump into someone, and you make a swipe at their belt pouch.
Mhm.
And maybe you're a little too vigorous, maybe you missed, maybe you hit a clasp or something. Whatever the case may be, the belt pouch actually falls to the floor
Mhm.
and spills stones all
Mhm.
across the floor. And the man who you bumped into, your mark, looks at you and then looks at the floor and goes, "Oh, my stones!" And he bends down and starts trying to gather them, and it creates a commotion. And people turn around and go, "What happened? What happened?"
I see a redemption opportunity right here. Now we got distraction of money on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
To hell with it. I came in here to do something. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make an attempt on someone else real quick while I'm pretending to look for the stones. And that's it.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. And that's it. I can't
Okay,
take it
okay,
anymore.
okay. No, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is good. Describe to me, because I'm trying to get an image in my head of what you're doing. So, are you bending down to help pick up stones?
What is the majority of the crowd? Are they looking too, or how distracted is this crowd?
I'd say, really, in all the noise that's going on, it's about the immediate 6 people around you have all turned and are staring down at the man who's now on his knees trying to collect his stones.
Okay.
And asking like, "What happened? Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm gonna go over there. I'm like, oh my god, what happened? And I'm gonna be like, put my hands out on people. I'm like, oh my god, is everyone okay?
Okay. Okay.
Oh god, please.
Roll one more time. No penalty this time.
Okay, God, please. Yes, I finally did it. 39%. Yes.
Okay. All right. You put your hands are like, "Oh my God, is everyone okay?" And so like you kind of like holding your hands out to steady people or pat people or that kind of thing.
Like a reassuring pat on the side or something, or in the back,
And you deftly take a belt pouch. This time you succeed in taking one.
Okay.
And then you pocket it.
Yeah.
And the man on the stones looks up and he says, "Don't bump into me like that."
I just apologize to him, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, and I'm just apologize to everybody around me. I get too festive, and I just kind of lose it. I'm sorry, and I just kind of back off. You know what I'm saying? And just play it off.
Wait.
Right.
Hold on.
You notice that.
Hold up. Are you really saying this?
Am I really saying this? I guess I am.
Yeah.
So hold on.
I totally forgot I was supposed to be a mute.
Do you want to? Is he allowed to take that back?
Okay.
Or is that...
Yeah. Okay. Now here's what I'm going to leave this up to you, David. Here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing. I, as a GM, appreciate that there is a difference between a player's knowledge and a character's knowledge. Do you seriously think that in this moment of adrenaline or shock or whatnot, that Talavac might make a slip? Or do you think that Talavac, not you as a player, but Talavac as a character, would not make that kind of slip?
I would like to leave it to chance, actually, because I can't make a decision one way or the other on this.
I
Because
am okay with this as well.
Because in the heat of the moment, my character could slip and say something.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave it to
True.
chance. So I'll say 50-50 chance. You choose high or low before you roll.
Okay. I'm gonna choose high on this one.
Okay.
Of course, it's low.
So in the heat of the moment,
And that's the last we ever heard from Talavac.
in the heat of the moment, Talavac utters words.
Yeah. I'm sorry for bringing it up, but it had to be brought up. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna bring it up if you didn't. Don't worry.
It wasn't until you said, "Are you saying that?" I'm like, "Oh shit."
Yep. So in the heat of the moment, Talavac utters words, and a few of the people don't register too much. But the few around you that were with you from the start, that were with Adolin, look at you with very wide eyes, and they stop what they're doing.
I kind of look back at them like deers in a headlight, you know, and I'm just grab my throat like, and just kind of walk off.
And one of them hurriedly goes to Adolin and Thedo, who we will say have just finished their interaction, and we'll do that interaction first. So basically,
Okay.
Thedo and I will do our interaction.
Failure
and
asked
we'll
him
end with-
again this time. Jesus. Okay. All right. Conversation.
So, when you first go up to Adolin, he will take you not take you by the arms, but like that clasps the shoulders type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He'll say, and he'll look very joyous and say, "Did you hear?
Mhm.
One of the mad gods was wounded. There's something out there that can fight them."
Yes. Yes. That is very true. I mean, the amulet itself spoke of it. But that only confirms what I already knew. With all due respect. You're bad gods. I suggested this once before. I'll say it again. Maybe your mad gods are not truly gods.
He hesitates for a moment, and he says, "I have trouble doubting your words, but all the same, if they are not gods, they are still immensely powerful. What could hurt something like that?"
Truly, I do not know. I can tell you that, says Leos, Dyrus nor Padum takes the form of a giant Palladian. So perhaps it is something else. Maybe something even further beyond the wastes.
I see. He looks a little disappointed, and he says, "I was hoping perhaps... Well, it is nothing. But it is a good sign. If the mad gods are not untouchable, maybe there is hope for us against the Radiants. I take it as a good omen."
Yes, a very good omen indeed.
"I'm sorry. I speak too much. What did you want, my friend?"
Well, to speak, and Thedo will give an almost uncharacteristic chuckle. I want to go over what happened today, between the plans and what worked and what did not. So tomorrow we might have better luck. Coordinating, of course, us Wastelanders with you and your own men.
Of course. Why don't you come with me to the corner here, where there's less shuffling about?
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then
Then we'll out of character do that shit.
exactly. And out of character, basically, and I'll just let this know, and then of course, Xavier, you can pass this on however you'd like. He'll say that he fears, in his experience by now, whatever battle, if they were at a battle, either they have not gone to a battle and they've returned to the cave, which, if that's the case, they might go out hunting soon. Or there was a battle, and either they have returned victorious with enough food to not have to hunt for quite some time, or they lost the battle and that nest is gone. And that's the information he would give at this point.
Great. Okay. Yep. Good to know.
All right. So as you guys are finishing, or we'll say you're deep in discussion, and one of Adolin's men will come up and he'll say, "He spoke. You said he could not speak."
Thedo will slowly stand up, and he'll say in a very careful tone of voice, "Who spoke?" my brother?
He will swing his arm around and point to Talavac like the evil monkey in Chris's closet.
Thedo will slowly walk towards Talavac. And under his breath, when he'll get to you just face to face, or I guess you could say helmet to helmet. And under his breath, Xavier's gonna say, "Sorry, buddy." And with that, I am going to punch him as hard as I can in his gut.
Oh, well, I wouldn't see this coming, so.
I have a very important question to ask.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When you do that, the entire room stops and stares because it's a very, like, everyone's already kind of looking. There's a very loud thump, and it's a very like wide, violent action. Everyone just kind of stops. Here's my question:
Uh-huh.
does Lucas stop?
Not for a bit.
Oh, nothing's gonna stop that jukebox.
He is currently into it, doing slight pelvic thrusts.
He's Elvis.
Jesus Christ.
So the entire room and everyone stops except for Lucas and the music, who's doing pelvic thrusts above a now quiet and still room.
It's like in the Lost Boys, that dude with the saxophone. That's what he's doing.
This is par for the course. Okay. So I guess I should roll to hit, right? Or roll damage or something?
It only depends. That's only if Talavac will not let you do it. Talavac, what do you do?
He just told me that he just apologized to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it socked me in the gut. Now I don't know whether or not I would react to this as a character, because I know it's coming at me, but my character wouldn't. So I don't know what to do.
All right.
Let him do it or not.
Let's see. Would your character instinctually react? Would your character let Xavier do it? That's something I'm actually going to have to... You're going to have to make a judgment call on that one.
Okay. I know what happened last time. I got hit in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So
At least he's faring it up.
yeah, and that worked out fine.
Wait, I hit you in the face? When did I hit you in the
did.
face?
You were supposed
What?
to hit
No,
me in the
he
face.
said gut.
Dude,
He said
Huh?
gut.
No, I know, but when did I hit him in the face in the past?
when...
We were meeting with that tyrant asshole.
Yeah! Man, I discipline you a lot. Okay.
Yeah, you do. And I even did it too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take it. I have to.
Okay. So then, no roll to hit, just roll damage.
1 point of STC.
All right, I'm gonna oversell it, and I'm gonna fall to my knee. Oh.
Okay.
And the whole room stops except for
Okay.
Lucas and
Squee?
his pelvic thrusts. Mm-hmm.
Do you think I would be able to see this?
Yeah.
See,
you're
what I
probably taller
imagine-
than everyone else here, so.
Yeah. See, what I imagine is, at this point in time, I'm near Lucas, and while all of this is going around, Isaac would have been talking to some single chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he sees that, tells her, "1 sec, I have to deal with something." Then he'll go over and ask what the deal is. What's
All
going
right.
on?
At this point, you'll hear Thedo say in a very angry tone, and he'll be yelling down at his brother, and he'll say, "You took an oath! You took an oath to Palladium himself, and now you break it. Now you break it.
I'm gonna
stand, you
I'm gonna
cur.
stand up with my head down, begging for forgiveness.
Do not ask for forgiveness for me. We are of the same blood. You must ask for forgiveness of Palladium himself." And he'll gesture over. He'll look over to Isaac, and he says, "You."
While you
Son.
turn around towards
Yeah.
where Isaac is, you see Lucas in the background still playing, now turn to the group and also shaking his bum back and forth with the music.
I can't.
Like bent over, like shaking his butt. Like bent over.
Xavier can't. He can't let this scene happen
No.
and have a serious scene with that happening. So Thedo is going to go and he's going to make a grab for Lucas's, not his butt, but his flute.
It's quite up there on that, but yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna. If you're gonna try to, if you're gonna try to avoid it,
He's currently turned his back and currently waving his butt. He has no idea somebody's gonna try to grab his flute.
Okay, I'm gonna try to grab his flute.
I want to point out that some pen and paper groups try to kill each other with axes and swords. Our group tries to grab flutes from each other when they're shaking their butts.
Yep.
That's about pretty much par for the course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It slips out of Lucas's hand, his finger and mouth still in the position. It takes a second for him to realize what happened. Hey, wait a second, and he turns around to you, and he's just sitting there with his mouth slowly puckered in.
Not now, Thedo says, and he'll hand the flute back to you. As he'll turn around and he'll look over to Isaac, and he says, "You, son of Dearest, goddess of storms and goddess of revenge, it is you I give you the task to administer my brother's redemption."
Isaac will sigh. And go, all right.
But not here in the eyes of these unbelievers.
I got
Back
my hands.
to our
Okay.
vehicle.
Okay, no. Before you do that, he's going to do something that's instantaneous. I'm sorry, but I'm going to manifest a Psy Sword. For theatrics. I want to do this.
Okay.
Theatrics? Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just from here. You've got Xavier talking all serious. It is you. You must punish him. Okay. Thigh sword.
Yeah, he'll
Theatrics
just
means
shrug.
in half, okay?
Okie doke. So here we go.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
what will happen is Isaac will kind of reach forward and grasp something that at first is invisible, but will seem to come out of light itself. It is a bright, shining golden longsword that crackles with golden energy. So I will spend 30 ISP to do that.
Okay, then I back up. I'm like looking around like, what the fuck?
I'm not gonna kill you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And
And then you say the part,
Thedo.
not here, not here. Oh, okay.
yeah, not here. Back to our here in front of these unbelievers. Back to our vehicle.
Isaac will again shrug and release the Psy Sword, which will instantaneously disappear. Then he'll just pick up Talarak
Okay.
and start walking out.
Thedo will turn to probably the onlookers and he says, "Apologies for that. It is our custom. Honor demands that I not explain why my brother took a vow of silence, but suffice to say it was due to a grievous mistake, a grievous sin upon in his part. I said he could not speak because that was the truth. He could not after he swore an oath to our God of honor and justice. But he has broken that oath, and he will have to pay for it with severe acts of contrition. It will be painful for him, but he will face Darius's justice and vengeance and become stronger for it."
As you say, we'll become stronger for it. Some eyes widen. And there's some looks of confusion. And Adolin looks around, and then he looks to you, and he says, "It is... They have never heard of a punishment handed down by a god that left them alive to grow stronger."
Oh. Thedo gives a sad shake of his head. Even Dearest, feisty, vengeful, angry Dearest, realizes that a corpse cannot worship. Much like these sands have carved our strength, that we have adapted to it and continued on, so is the god's justice, to purge what doesn't work and to harvest what does. You as farmers understand this. You cannot eat wheat if you burn the field. Wait, well, I'm not gonna say wheat. I'm gonna say whatever fucking plant these fucking barbarians use, you know.
But you don't know, so...
So then I'll say, instead I'll say,
Mhm.
you cannot harvest what you burn. Boom.
There you go. Perfect. Should I? Yes. Okay. Trying to think what NPCs would do. Oh, Adolin. After this display, after Xavier's words, actually, I think this would be important. Roll me up. Would you consider this a charm or intimidate?
Trust. Oh,
Trust.
it's to invoke trust or intimidate. So
Right.
this is to invoke
Trust.
trust. He wants them to believe
Because
him.
you are trying to appeal to them on an emotional level, right?
Yeah, exactly. I got 53 and I need this 70, so I succeed by 17.
Okay, good. Okay. After your words, Adolin jumps up on a table and says, "You hear this?" And he points to Thedo. "This man follows a real god, a god who may be strict, but cares about the people who worship him and makes them stronger instead of slaughtering them. We heard tonight from Phyllis that the mad gods can be hurt, that they are not what we thought them to be. And I have learned from my friend here that there are other gods, true gods, that may be more deserving. This is what we should have been." And with that, you hear a couple of hears and a couple of murmurs, and then he kind of stands there looking out over everyone.
And Theta will then say, "There is still time."
Everyone kind of looks at Adolin and goes, "What? Wait, what?"
There is still time. You say this is something that should have happened, but Xavier thinks, and he's choosing his words very carefully now. And he'll say, "The gods are gods, the true gods, the triumphant. All of Cyrene is its children. You only need to ask."
There is stunned silence. And very quietly, you hear from the table Adolin say, "They would accept me as a follower, even though I've barely known them?"
Xavier sees the hope in his eyes. He sees the hope in everyone's eyes. And he thinks, oh boy.
You see Lucas with big, like, puppy dog eyes.
And Xavier thinks to himself, he says, probably won't hurt them. And he'll reply, yes. That's the worst that could happen.
We're doing this. We're starting this religion, guys. We just need to make it more established and start getting, tax write-offs and, collections. We need more gems. We need more fists.
We can marry people.
I love. Okay, I'm gonna step away for a second too, and love how this is happening so organically. Without Talavac failing a roll, there'd be no speech. There'd be nothing to motivate Adolin.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why I love
Adolin,
narrative, man.
Adolin would look at Xavier,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would quietly say, I would give my life for a god who protects me instead of one who would see me mad or dead. And you hear some low murmurs in the room. And then
Blasphemy.
Uh-huh. Go
Adolin
on.
gets down off the table
Uh-huh.
and goes to a knee and says, Teach me the ways of your gods so that I may follow.
I feel dirty.
I don't. Xavier doesn't. Xavier doesn't. This was inevitable.
I feel gross inside.
I won't. I refuse to. Theta will say, I have said once, and I've said many times, I am not a priest nor high priest. I am simply a religious follower. But that does not mean I am unable to teach. And hopefully, soon, after we solve together the troubles that plague you in Baker's village, that perhaps you could be the first priests on this side of the wastes. I'm sorry, he's not laughing while he's saying that.
I know.
I'm laughing while I'm saying that because I'm like, wow, this is like
Me
a
too.
whole new level. This is a
I
whole
know.
new level. Okay.
All right. Hang on. I got to think. I got to think in character. All right. So I'm not going to teach you, but after we've solved your problems, you could be the first. Okay.
Mhm.
Adolin would look up, confused for a bit, and then nod, and he'd say, Of course. What gods would teach if not by doing?
Exactly. Precisely. So, I will teach you a small prayer now to ask the Triumvirate blessing. That will start your path of being a new child of the three. As we travel and work together, as we spend more time together, I will let you know more. I will tell you everything I know about these gods. Will that be all right by you for now?
Yes.
Good. Repeat after me. There was a little Spanish flea. No. No. Thedo will actually say, he will say though, repeat after me, Adolin.
Adolin, we'll just assume that Adolin repeats everything you say.
Okay. Padum, bringer of justice. Darius, bringer of storms. Ceslios, bringer of wisdom. Look upon your child and raise him above the rest. And that will be the little prayer thing that Xavier totally pulled out of his ass. That will give these people hope and all that wonderful stuff.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't making notes or anything. Adolin will repeat the words, and you actually hear a few others repeat the words. People who have been with you almost as long as Adolin has. So men that were with you. Everyone else is just quiet and wide-eyed. And
then Thedo, after after the silence, he'll break the silence and he'll gesture around him and say, "We still breathe, do we not? We
There
still
are
exist.
some nods.
The mad gods have not struck us down. The radiant has not purged us. If they were truly as powerful as they say they were, I would be struck dead this very moment."
There are some more nods. And Adolin says, "We have learned much tonight, all of us. Perhaps it's best to rest,
Yes.
gain perspective."
There will be a long day tomorrow, and I'm afraid I must attend to my brother, ensure his retribution is properly paid.
Of course, we would not intrude. I will retire then, and I will see you, say, high noon tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. And with that, Adolin and a lot of people will kind of shuffle out, some of them murmuring, some of them very quiet. And they all leave except for Phyllis and the bartender.
Uh-huh.
And after a moment, after everyone's left, Phyllis will go. I mean, the bartender will put his elbows on the table and go, "Is that all true what you said there?"
Is he looking to me?
Yeah.
Thedo will give a polite smile, and as he starts to make his way towards the door, he gives a small nod. And exits before that fucking bartender can take out that goddamn medallion.
Exit stage and left.
Yep. No,
Okay,
just
Isaac, you
Lucas's
said.
button those two.
Yeah, Isaac, you said you had an action to take
You know
about
what?
half an hour after.
Lucas is just like, "You want real proof?
Bartender goes, "Sure."
Hand me the truth necklace."
What? Okay, well, I'm not there. Sorry. I'll shut up.
He will widen his eyes and hand over the truth necklace.
"The triumphant is as real as your mad gods." Lucas does not believe either of them are real.
Right. The truth necklace does not light up, and the bartender's eyes grow wide as dinner plates.
He'll hand it gently back to
Clever.
him.
The bartender is very quiet when he says, "Your rooms, free of charge, tonight."
"Oh, why, thank you." Oh, should I keep playing?
He, like his mouth still open, shakes his head.
Then I'm done here, and he'll leap off the counter. And he'll do 2 taps on the counter with his flute. Yes. I believe it was 1 gem and 2 if I did a good job.
With his mouth still open, he rolls 2 gems over to you.
You were very kind. Thank you.
He nods. Oh, by the way, they are not glowing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's that. Who else has an interaction they'd like to do?
Well, I'm pretty sure that Xavier will get to the van where Televac and Isaac is currently by the time that Isaac will want to go back to the town, because I'll tell you right now, Isaac doesn't want to sleep in the van again. No, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. A real bed would be nice. Xavier?
All right.
Hello? Did something happen? Sorry guys, I'm trying to reconnect the call. Oh. Huh. Well, looks like my internet has died. So, thank you guys for watching so far. I will be uploading the rest when I get back online. Ta-da!